What's up, guys? JnJReviews here. We are back with a spoiler-heavy review, the last review you'll ever see posted of Captain America: Civil War. Captain America: Civil War, one of the most anticipated movies I think going into this year. Marvel has been building toward this movie forever with the Marvel Cinematic Universe. This is the 13th movie in that universe, and it is Iron Man versus Captain America. Jalen, what were you looking for going into this movie?
Well, I was looking for an adventure, Marvel adventure as usual. It's been going on for a while now, and I think they've all been pretty darn good. And most important thing is, I was excited for another Captain America movie because I've enjoyed all the Captain America movies in the Marvel series, and I was hoping for a little bit of rebound after Age of Ultron. Obviously, it was still a great movie, but I wanted something that was going to be have a little bit of everything in it, and this one definitely did.
Yeah, I agree. Captain America: Winter Soldier was, I think, the best, arguably the best movie in the Marvel Cinematic Universe as far as just like quality film. And that was the Russo brothers. They're back here. And I agree. I liked Age of Ultron more than a lot of people, but I do think everyone went in thinking this is going to be a dark, like more serious movie, and it wasn't that, which wasn't the movie's fault. They just didn't make us like as serious movie, and this movie was that serious movie. So that's what I was looking for going in. And I definitely got a more serious tone. This is not. There's still plenty of jokes, but this is not the usual Guardians of the Galaxy Marvel movie. This one, they tackle some real subjects, and stuff gets pretty deep there between our main characters.
Yeah, I'm probably gonna say this a lot in this review, but this movie had a lot of layers.
Mm-hmm.
There's a ton of layers because there's all these stories and things. It had so much to put in this movie. Between a battle, between introducing a new character. I mean, there's so many different things in this movie. It was so layered. It was like a bunch of like mini movies into one until it led to its final climax, and it did a really good job of that. It wasn't like there was these little side stories that had no meaning. Bad movie, Superman, but regardless, this
shots are fired.
Yeah.
2 minutes in.
Honestly, this one had stuff that you actually cared about on the side, and it was good. I like that.
Yeah, this film definitely did have layers. Like you said, there was it's already a Marvel movie in general, so there's the action scenes, there's the political aspect of it with stuff that's brought up where the Avengers, every time they go anywhere, people die all the time, and they can just do what they want. And then there's even more layers of the emotional, the thing we've been seeing for a lot of movies, the friction between Captain America and Iron Man that's slowly been building, that all comes to a head in this movie. And I think the Russo brothers really did pull that off in this movie. They were able to make not just a good, fun summer popcorn movie, but they're also just able to construct a good, well thought out movie that just it kept along at a nice pace. There wasn't any like super slow moments. There wasn't any moments where I was like, we haven't had a joke in a while or something. It all was just really even for me. It really just paced out really well.
Yeah, and I think I kind of worry about going to this movie again is just the massive amounts of characters that they're bringing in. There's so many heroes now that it's just crazy. But once again, they found a way to do it, and it was unbelievable. There's just lots of good moments between, just a single character, then they move on to a group. But there was no, shoving one character out of the way. Everyone had their moment, and everyone did it well, which was really good as well. Obviously, the main focus had to be on Captain America, the Winter Soldier, Iron Man. But the whole point is everyone got their share, and they all did it, the job that they needed to do, and that was really impressive in my opinion.
Yeah, everyone got their moment to shine. No one was definitely what it is, a Captain America movie, and Iron Man's in there too. That was the focus of the movie, but everyone is in the movie and they all get their little scenes, whether it's like Vision and Scarlet Witch, or Hawkeye has his moments. Ant-Man, I think Ant-Man personally was better in this movie than in Ant-Man. I thought they wrote him a lot better. He was funnier in this movie. We'll get to the airport fight scene a little bit, but I think he was probably one of the best parts of that whole fight scene. But yeah, all these characters they had to handle and deal with, they did it very well. And of course, we expected nothing less from the performances because everyone's been these characters before for the most part. Everyone was great.
Oh yeah, I definitely think so. And then obviously this movie got introduced, just to say that, to a bunch of new characters. Obviously Spider-Man, Black Panther, and let's be honest, both of them were really good additions to the story.
They didn't feel as forced as they could have. I was kind of worried they'd be just all of a sudden, oh yeah, we got Spider-Man.
Yeah, and that's what I kind of saw in that trailer when I first saw Spider-Man.
He's just gonna whip in out of nowhere.
Yeah, Fortunately, though, he had a great story, and so did Black Panther. But obviously, they're both having their own movies, so they kind of had to do set up a little bit. But in the end, I think they did a good job of making them, important to the story, but not too important. And they were both entertaining characters. Both you actually cared about. There was a good backstory between both of them, and they're both pretty cool heroes as well. I liked both of them.
Yeah, Black Panther, because it is spoilers, we can go and say the reason he's really in this movie is because in the beginning of the movie there's a big action scene, crossbones, they take him out, and Scarlet Witch loses control of an explosion and it hits a building with a bunch of Wakanda people there that are holding a meeting or something, and a bunch of Wakanda people die, and Black Panther was in the building, and then later we think it's the Winter Soldier blows up another building, killing Black Panther's father, the king of Wakanda. So he has a lot of personal stakes in this movie. He's out for revenge. He says to Black Widow at one point, "Don't worry about him, I'll kill him myself." So he's really out for blood in this movie. And I liked how they put him in the movie. I wasn't really sure watching the trailers what they were going to do to make him seem like he fit in this movie, but I really liked how they pulled it off.
He was kind of that rebellious character, kind of you don't know specifically what side he's on.
Yeah,
but
he didn't really pick a side. He was just kind of after the Winter Soldier.
Exactly, but yeah, he's extremely interesting. I think he'll make a pretty good standalone movie as well. Yeah, some people say that he was just this amazing character. I don't think he was extremely amazing.
I think he got enough to do to be amazing.
Exactly. I don't think he got that exact opportunity yet to become that amazing character. But in the moments he was great. Obviously, late in the movie, the end, he was an interesting character. I think it was the end credit scene part.
Yeah.
So therefore, yeah, he definitely is going to be a nice addition to the Marvel series. And you like Spider-Man. Spider-Man, obviously, Tony Stark recruits Spider-Man, which I think was great.
Oh, in the movie, the standalone Spider-Man movie, Tony Stark's going to be in it, confirmed. I can't wait, because they were so funny together in this movie.
Yeah.
They have great chemistry already.
Definitely not expected. Going in, I didn't know Iron Man was going to go and recruit Spider-Man, but yeah, it was awesome. I think it was extremely funny. Obviously, they finally gotten a character in Spider-Man that is a teenager, somebody that is going through high school. Yeah. That's
He's like, "Whoa, Avengers!
Yeah.
Whoa, you're Captain America! Whoa!" And when he gets in the battle, he's just a kid.
Yeah, I mean, that's how I would react in this situation. Something that I've grown up watching the heroes. Now you get to actually be with them, and obviously he's also getting used to his powers.
Yeah, he's still just a dumpster diver. He's never really had to do anything yet.
Exactly. So it's really interesting. I'm sure he hasn't done much at all with his powers, and so finally getting on and actually having to be in this big battle and the airport scene. So yeah, I think it was definitely an interesting character. He also cracked plenty of jokes. I think 90% of them worked, and I know my theater was definitely laughing, and it was interesting to see. So I think he was a great character.
Yeah, and then getting into more of the story of Civil War, you get now what a lot of people are complaining about is the villain Zemo, because the whole movie it's kind of him they have the personal thing between Captain America and Iron Man, but he's slowly building up towards their final battle, putting the pieces in, framing Bucky for the explosion and all that stuff. I thought Zemo, he wasn't a great villain, but I thought he did what he had to do. He was he was Lex Luthor from Batman and Superman, but a good version. I saw him actually put his hand in and tweak some stuff around, and I thought he didn't have his moment where I was like, it's Zemo, he's a villain, but I thought he did enough to where I knew what his plan was, and I thought it was fine for what he had to do.
Oh yeah, I don't think he mattered whatsoever. I mean, obviously he did, but there wasn't a need, and I think that's kind of was a strength in this movie was that we've had Loki, we've had Ultron as kind of the big Avengers movies. Obviously we've had other villains in the other ones, but as the main key villains, you look at they needed that one key villain to be the main evil dude. Well, this one you didn't need it. I think this is also some very cool backstory. Another thing that was kind of almost a side story type thing, dealing with Hydra and their end of Hydra and everything else. And so I thought that was kind of interesting twist. Obviously, it related to the Captain America movies, and it worked well. But yeah, I think you definitely wanted to see Captain America and Iron Man, deal with that, the Winter Soldier stuff, kind of finish out what the Winter Soldier brought, but also add a little component with the end of Hydra and that kind of stuff, which was really good, I think.
Yeah, I don't think we needed a big like evil villain to like take over the movie. I thought he did what he had to do. He put them in place because they weren't gonna come to a head like that and totally fight like they do at the end if it wasn't for him to set it up. So I thought he did what he had to do. And now moving on, let's get to the airport scene, which for me was my favorite scene in the movie because it easily could have been a mess of a scene, just to have people flying everywhere, only focus on like the main guys you want. And in the trailer, I wasn't sure why they were all going to end up at the airport, but they do it really well. It's just Captain America and Bucky are trying to get on a plane to go over and stop Zemo, and what because they figured out his plan by then. Iron Man still is in the dark, so I think that's really good how it all came together. And the Russo brothers, the way they shot the scene, everyone had their moments. There was jokes, there was cool action, and I actually believed that everyone was fighting each other. It didn't look staged. Really great job.
And see, I think that was the kind of the problem with a movie like Age of Ultron again. I remember the beginning scene in the snow and stuff. That was just really, really, scripted and choreographed.
I think the first scene in this movie was kind of like that too.
Very
the first
similar.
action scene, it like the camera was kind of weird, and it just there was like jokes that didn't fit. So I think I don't know what it is with these beginning scenes, but they just don't work as well as the payoff scenes that we get.
Yeah, I think they definitely do that. But yeah, I think overall though, I think when looking at all the Avengers movies or similar movies, I think this was really, honestly, probably the best, fighting scene that we've seen. I think it was very realistic, as you said. There was great jokes, and everyone got their moment. It just really kind of brought everything together. All these side stories, all this, the main plot was all brought together. But the main thing is, you still got the main dessert of the movie, Captain America and Iron Man versing each other. I think that was awesome. I think it was just a really well done scene, honestly.
And you got Giant Man.
Yeah, there you go.
Because you could kind of tell what was about to happen, but then it still happened, and you were like, whoa, that was still great. And then, we get to finally the big fight. It all comes together. Iron Man he figures out, because all the Avengers are like put away in a like asylum thing. And so he figures out that Zemo is like working this against him. There's something else going on, so he shows up. Captain America and Bucky's like, we're cool. Then the final stage of Zemo's plan is he shows them that the Winter Soldier, on order when he was being controlled by Hydra, killed Tony Stark's parents. And I thought they teased it at the beginning. You didn't see who it was, but they showed that scene. I wondered why they were showing us that. And then when it paid off, you could just see in Tony Stark's eyes, like that hit you because you could see how devastating that was to him.
Well, and then you had, first of all, Tony Stark had War Machine go down.
Yeah, he already was dealing with a lot.
He had, and then obviously to know that his parents...
And that Captain America knew, that was even bigger.
Right.
Captain America knew the whole time and never told him.
Right, and then, and then Tony Stark, you also see the scene early in the movie where he's reliving the moment of his parents leaving. Mm-hmm. And I think that was awesome. By the way, that CGI was awesome on Tony Stark.
That was really trippy for a second. I was like, is that an actor?
I couldn't tell.
Who is that? Then I realized what was going on.
It was really awesome.
It was trippy.
But, that was really well done. That was like very similar to that Paul Walker type stuff.
And that was Ant-Man, and when they made Michael Douglas look young in Ant-Man, that was that kind of stuff.
It's really good. But, no, I think, it definitely led to all this. You could definitely see on both sides. Obviously... Captain America wanted to avenge his friend who avenged him. It's kind of that, domino effect. And then you saw Iron Man's side where he had all this stuff going on him. And so it was just really good. Honestly, I don't get this a lot from Marvel movies, but kind of heart-tugging in some ways, especially the ending part when they're battling each other. And it was just really nice to see. Really solid story arc as well.
Yeah, and I liked how in this movie, then another superhero movie that we've already brought up, they actually fight till one of them wins. It's not a cop-out fight. They just go at each other. You can see Tony Stark is really just trying to beat the crap out of Captain America, and just how it all ends. And that's not when Captain America does end up defeating Iron Man. He like stabs his shield in the suit, and he's like, "That's not your shield. That belongs to me." Just really great ending to that. And then the way the movie just overall wraps up, and that whole time you have Black Panther and Zemo having a conversation, because Zemo goes to, basically, I think he's going to kill himself because he's listening to the last message from his wife who died during Age of Ultron and the Sokovia thing. So when that was all going down, he was like talking to him about revenge and how he was after revenge, but he realized it's not the right thing. So I thought it just really well done overall. Like you said, tugs on the heartstrings, great action. I thought it just concluded overall, wrapped up all the storylines. Was really well done.
And go one more time to that Batman v Superman thing. Obviously, so you talked about the big fight between the two. The other thing that this movie was had that Batman v Superman didn't have was reasons why they're fighting again.
I totally understood what Iron Man was doing and why Cap was fighting him. I could see both sides clearly.
Yeah, I mean, we just laid out, kind of both sides. Obviously, I said it, but yeah, I mean, we actually had reasons. I could say why maybe Batman was fighting Superman in the last one, but Superman, I had no idea. It was just a forced reason why he started fighting was because, the mother thing with Batman, like. It was all forced, just why they had to fight each other.
It was manipulated. This one, it was actually organic. They both wanted to fight each other by the time it finally came down to it.
And ultimately, it was believable.
Yes.
But, again, I absolutely loved this movie. I think that it offered a lot of great stories and setups for next movies, not forced.
Yeah.
And a fantastic movie in its own right with the main plot. And, Villain... That was also very solid to wrap up kind of this last movie, The Winter Soldier. I think it just did a really good job, and I was really impressed. Everyone got their moment. So I think that's why I'm going to go ahead and rate Captain America Civil War an 8.5 out of 10. I think it just did a really good job. It definitely rebounded from Age of Ultron, and I had a good time.
Yeah, I think overall this movie definitely lived up to what it was giving us. Captain America versus Iron Man, the airport scene they were all teased at, Spider-Man, Black Panther, all these things that we didn't know if they could quite come together and mesh. They all meshed perfectly. The story, it tugged on your heartstrings. There was funny moments in it. I think the Russo brothers have shown, I'm glad they're directing Infinity War, those movies, because they've shown that they are the directors that know how to handle all these characters in the universe. And I can't wait for the Spider-Man and Black Panther movies now. So I'm also giving this movie an 8.5 out of 10. I'm sure everyone's already seen this movie that wanted to see it, but go see it again. Definitely, if you haven't, check it out, because definitely the best superhero versus superhero movie of the year so far. So thank you guys for watching this review. Let us know down below what you thought of Captain America Civil War and how excited you are for the rest of the movies this summer and in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. JnJReviews.
Sign out.